Wyrd Realities explores the paranormal, preternatural, and supernatural worlds that surround us. Here we delve into those topics that challenge us to think outside the limitations of realism, where we test the boundaries of imagination and are forced to think outside the confines and restrictions of what is normal. We are the creators, the writers, the artists, and the insane. Welcome to our Wyrd Realities.
Happy Thursday. This is Hadley, and I am here. Tonight we're going to be talking about werewolves. The werewolf hasn't been as popular as their fright-night brethren, such as zombies, vampires, and the multitude of slasher villains. But that doesn't mean that their movies aren't noteworthy. So tonight, Alan, Scott, Rich, and I are going to review and recommend some of our favorite and not-so-favorite werewolf movies. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and follow button before we begin. And to get notified first when we upload new videos, live events, and promos, be sure to subscribe and click on that little bell on YouTube. Now, as always, I hand you over to Big Mike himself, Mr. Allen Gamboa.
Who is frozen solid.
Again.
Let's talk about him. Oh, there he is.
No, he's out again.
I don't think he is.
Either that or he's in a time warp.
Hey, Whitney, how's baby Ollie?
Is it me?
It's you.
Yeah, it's you.
It's 100% you. There he goes. Alan says he's going to his phone. Technical difficulties.
Well, before we get started with our werewolf movies, tell me what y'all thought about Barbarian.
You first. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to remember Barbarian. I watched it. Go ahead. You guys talk about it.
Did not think it was nearly as good as everyone said. It was okay. I liked it. The close in in the confines when they were underground, that was kind of spooky. The premise of it is terrifying, but the movie itself, it was just a little bit of lackluster for me. And I went in there thinking, oh, this is going to be such a great movie and all that stuff, and it was just, I thought it was Anyone?
Big Mike is back.
Oh, I was going to say Whitney. He is adorable, and I love the pictures. Please keep posting them.
There he's go. I mean, it was an okay. It was an okay movie, like you said. I thought the premise was really great, and the fact that what was down there, how it got there, was, I think, just terrifying because you could see it happening.
What are we talking?
Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
We were just going to do, while we were waiting for you, just talk a little bit about it.
Oh, let's talk a little bit about the Barbarian.
Yeah, it was all right.
Oh, as we say up here in Massachusetts, Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Well, I'm going to take a shout out for Landa, Alan, and Mike Lewis, in addition to Whitney. Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello. Hey, Mike.
We look forward to this every week. But yeah, Barbarian, man, I was looking to be so impressed, and I can't say that I was, but I will say that now Justin Long has forever replaced Ned Beatty for me.
I don't want to be near Justin Long in any movie. It doesn't work well for him.
No.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Tony, buddy.
Hey,
How you
Tony.
doing?
But he was a real dick in this movie.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He got what was coming to him.
He did. In it.
Did he really, though? Did he?
He's dead. So, I mean, yeah.
I mean, he had to. Oh, I just don't even want to think about the scene with the boob.
Uh-huh. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, that part, I think, was worse than his death. Getting a big boy.
I think so, too. That's what I'm saying. I
Unclean.
don't think he deserves. I think no one deserves that. But yeah. So, I guess we were all across the board kind of disappointed.
Yeah, wasn't my favorite.
Yeah, I won't watch it again.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I wouldn't watch it again. I didn't hate it. Are you talking to me, Tina?
I hope so.
I hope so too. I thought the acting was good in it. It has some creep factor to it. I wouldn't watch it again, though.
Yeah.
Who was
What
the
the
main
hell
character?
was Bill Skarsgård thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a killer in the basement. Oh, let me go see. I don't know that I believe you.
Now, see that That's the kind of stuff that makes me not like the movie. Because what are you doing? Nope, nobody. I'm gonna go down in the spooky hole after
That's
we
called
heard the noises.
mansplaining.
Right. I mean, I guess so. Does every mansplainer get their head smashed? Because
no. Hey, Stephen. Hey, Nicholas.
Hey.
Tina, it's always lovely to have you in the house.
Hey, Ash.
Yeah, you can't find us, huh?
Yeah.
We're on Horror
we're
Writers
streaming.
Inc. We're on Horror Writers Inc. on Facebook, right?
Right. I streamed there. I streamed on our stuff and on our YouTube page. So
good. Spooky hole.
Spooky hole.
I'm not.
That's correct. The spooky hole. You don't go in the spooky hole.
You don't go in.
Well, the thing that I wondered was the homeless man had said, well, there's scarier things than her in that house. And I was like, well, he can't be talking about the decrepit old man who can't get out of the bed.
Well,
barbarian.
Maybe in his prime. Maybe he hadn't seen the guy in a while. I don't know. I don't know. I like to see his story. You know, they kind of. Yeah. I think they had a lot of good ideas, but they just didn't, gel, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like I said. Everybody had said what a great film it is. You got to see this film. It's got like a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. And I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I watched it and oh my God, that's a Mountain Dew. I watched it and I was like, it was kind of the same as you guys.
Yeah.
I had questions afterward. It had a lot of holes.
It did have, especially a spook hole. Yeah.
Well, the spook hole, and then the creepy 9-foot tall troll woman. I mean, what explained that? There's no amount of inbreeding that could have taken place to explain that.
Do you know?
I don't know.
Unless he had abducted a Sasquatch at some point and shaved it down.
She was pretty strong.
Yeah. Well, so do you all think it's worth people to watch, to give it a look?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could freak some people out. There's definitely the scene that we're all thinking of that's friggin' freaky. Yeah,
I think that the whole VRBO thing, Airbnb thing is kind of scary anyway for me. Because you don't know whose house that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
I
guess so.
So I mean, I guess maybe that's why people think it's scary because they're out VRBOing.
See, to me, I thought the biggest scare factor was the fact it could happen.
Yeah.
I could, other than the gigantic Bigfoot female nude in the basement, I could see that, being a news story someday.
Yeah.
The booping of the nose. That's what really did it for me. The nose
what?
Boop. The nose boop. When she booped him on the nose. We boop dogs. We don't boop babies, so I don't know.
It was bizarre. It was. I like the homage to Jeep Creepers though with Justin Long. That was pretty good.
That was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got to make your own decisions on that one.
Yeah, it's true. Watch it. Let us know what you think of it. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, watch it and let us know.
Yeah.
It's one of the newer ones, like a Smile, and then out there, Pray, I think, or something like that. Pray for the Devil or something like that. So there's some newer ones out there right now.
Yeah.
So,
we should do some newer ones.
We should. I watch.
Maybe we should do this every week. Just do one new movie and we cut it down and then go into our stuff.
Yeah.
Easily done.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So, who wants to go first with their werewolf?
You.
Yeah, you do you.
Okay. I'm going to because Rich didn't like my movie.
No, Rich didn't like my movie.
Yeah, I'm with. Okay.
You first, Hadley. Go ahead.
All right. Bad Moon was my movie, or as I like to call it, Who's the Bestest Boy? This little werewolf movie is not talked about enough. It contains good practical effects for a werewolf, movie made in 96. But the favorite thing for me for this whole movie is that it is basically the main character, the star, the perspective from which it is told is Thor, a 100-pound German shepherd who is dedicated to protecting his family.
Okay.
This is adapted from Wayne Smith's novel Thor. Now,
What's
the
the name
movie
of this
has
movie?
do what?
What's the name of this movie? I'm sorry, Lance.
It's called Bad Moon.
Oh, Bad Moon. I said Blood Moon.
Bad Moon.
Yeah.
And it's adapted from the Wayne Smith novel Thor. So the movie has very little mystery, very little suspense, but its atmosphere and the effects were decent. It takes place. It starts off with Uncle Ted Harrison, played by Eddie and the Cruisers alumni Michael Pare, and he's portraying a globe-trotting photographer who is on travel with his girlfriend in Nepal. And like all great horror movies, it starts off with a lot of sex.
Yeah.
So there's this graphic carnage scene. The girlfriend's killed by the 8-foot tall lycanthrope, and Ted is infected. Then, months later, we're in the Pacific Northwest, and Ted goes to visit his older sister and nephew and their dog Thor.
We're on Horror Writers Inc. on Facebook.
Okay. Now, as reports of killer animals are circulating, Uncle Ted is taking these long moonlight strolls and is kind of acting like a creeper. And now he's staying, he's in his Airstream behind the sister's house. And there's this scene with this like flopsy, weird, what do you call panhandler person?
Grifter.
And it shows how aggressive Thor can be. Again, Thor's just out to protect his family.
Yeah.
He's not really happy with Uncle Ted. And you start to see, I mean, there's really no spoilers. Uncle Ted is obviously a werewolf, and Thor knows. And it begins this kind of complex battle of wills between Uncle Ted and Thor. And you start thinking, Thor might have bitten off more than he can chew. Uncle Ted has him put away. Anyway, this is a great kind And one of the things that I have to say is obviously Thor did great. Good boy. Werewolf effects, they aren't that bad. They're not that great. They're kind of the same ones that are from The Howling, only not quite as realistic. And they probably could have done better if they hadn't focused on them as long. But Bad Moon is not the worst werewolf movie by a stretch that I've seen. The cast, they're kind of Michael Pare's big thing was Eddie and the Cruisers. I don't really know what he's done since. But it's not your regular horror movie. I think that this would be a great way to introduce your 10-year-old to horror. It's a safe movie, other than the graphics scene in the beginning. But again,
they got to learn sometime.
But really, I mean, like I said, it's horror light. And the fact that it's from the perspective of the dog is my favorite thing about the movie. I love it, and the dog did wonderful. And who can hate a movie that has a star of a 100-pound German Shepherd?
Yeah, I figured that's why you got this one. Well, you don't want your 10-year-old this to be your 10-year-old's first werewolf movie. You got to skip the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. His boobs. 2 minutes in.
Yes.
And the Hadley, I didn't like this movie.
Rich didn't either. No. I know y'all are gonna bag on me, but I like it. I like the dog. Y'all know that. So
yeah,
I like this movie.
Oh yeah.
So if this movie had been told from the perspective of the dog, I don't know how they would have done it, but you know what? There's smart people out there. They could have figured it out. I think it would have been a lot better of a movie. Certainly didn't need the mom. The kid was okay. He was there. Michael Pare, take him or leave him. The werewolf was at times it looked pretty scary, and other times it looked like a kitten. So I was like, the werewolf was okay. The changing of the werewolf was good. The dog was the only part of the movie that I didn't dislike, I guess.
I
Movie was not for me. It was slow. There wasn't a lot of plot to it. The werewolf, it was okay. The dog took the show. So I love the dog. Next.
Well, I'll say this. I really thought it had been a long time. I think I saw it probably in '97 when it came out. But I really thought that the grifter guy was going to be the werewolf, and that the uncle being bit was going to be like the red herring, which would have made it for a better story. But that's not how they rolled it out. So.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a great movie. I think they told it from the dog's point of view as much as they could. Because, you'd focus in on all the shots and like the dog would look at him funny. And there was a sort of that, like the two of them were like, yeah, I know who you are. Don't screw with my family. The sister and the son had to be there to be protected. They were, you thought they were going to be main characters. They were secondary characters. It was pretty much Michael Pare versus Thor. And what broke me up the whole movie was Thor kept on outsmarting Michael Pare. He gets him sent to the pound. He breaks out of the pound. He goes after, and he attacks him. It was good. I don't think I'll watch it again. But of the 4 movies, it's in my top 2 favorites.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. But yeah, watching the whole thing, I said, yeah, I know why Hadley picked this one.
Yeah. It had some good gore. It did have some good gore scenes in it, though the blood was like.
Well, I mean, I'm telling y'all, it had been a while. I was thinking, is the werewolf gonna have sex with her? What is this? So,
I'm thinking back.
The worst.
The girlfriend in the tent, the grifter. That's it. Who else did you never saw anyone else get killed by the werewolf? You heard about it.
The guy in the forest. The forest worker guy that was by the.
Oh yes. Okay. Okay. You're right. Yep. So there's 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it. I'll give it 1 star for Thor and 1 star so Hadley doesn't hurt me. So 2 stars from me.
I will never hurt y'all for not liking my movies. But it was between this and the Blood for Chocolate, and the Blood for Chocolate was kind of more paranormal romance, and I wasn't going to do that to y'all. So
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So you did this to us.
Don't listen to them.
Allen didn't like dogs.
Now, was that Margot or Mariel Hemingway?
It's Mariel.
It was starring
by then, right?
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember which one. She can't act.
No. She was only in this to be protected. I loved it though. I loved it when she gives the grifter there all that shit about being a lawyer. Then he comes back to kill the dog and winds up getting eaten himself. Yeah, that was a.
What, didn't he have like a butcher knife?
It was a cleaver. Who does that?
It's like their dog's gonna eat you alive.
I know. Who would kill a dog with a cleaver? Nobody. I guess clearly this asshole.
Obviously Flopsy.
Yeah, right. Bad dude. He got what he needed to get.
Oh so. Yeah.
He did. I'm gonna be like Rich, and I'm gonna give it to.
Scott, what are you gonna give it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm petting the cat here, and I love. I'll give it a 3.
Huh?
Come on, boss lady.
I think I'll give it a 3.
All right.
I enjoyed it, but the acting wasn't great. Like I said, I want to read the book now, so check out Thor.
Now that you're married, you don't have to watch any of her movies anymore.
So overall, this is what's the average on this? Our math whizzes, science man, you're a math whiz.
3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 divided by 4. It's a pretty low average, buddy.
2.5.
And Hadley, Michael Pere's in that Bridge of Doom or whatever.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh. I sent y'all a link. He's not in it, but there's a new movie coming out with the guy that was in Boardwalk Empire.
Steve Buscemi?
Buscemi?
No, this was the guy that he hit the mask.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
That it looks really good.
Hmm.
I don't know. I sent y'all the trailer. I don't know if y'all
Yeah,
saw it. It did look good.
So that movie, Bridge of Doom, is now on digital. It's been released to digital. I saw it today.
Oh.
I saw it on Facebook today, so he's got some commercialization going.
Cool. I mean, if we can figure out how to do a watch party, maybe we should do a watch party for it.
yeah.
Now, if anybody out there has a retriever named Thor, think about the joke. Let us know.
Joe has a Dashin.
A Labrador.
So laborers.
Oh my
La-
God. Dios mío.
Laborers. Uh-huh.
Oh man. Okay, Scott.
All right.
Go to Bubba.
I picked Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. I'll explain why when I'm done. I think this is it's one of my favorite werewolf movies because it's so insanely off the wall and funny. Takes place in Cracker County. Bubba Blanche is this sweet, lovable redneck. Has the IQ of like a puppy. He used to date the really hot girl in town, but she's now dating somebody else who's tough. Bubba is he's going bald. He's not very aggressive. He can't stand up for himself. He's not a very positive person. So one night he just wishes he could just change all that. Well, in comes Satan. And there's no big name stars in this movie, so I'm not going to name any. In comes Satan, and Satan makes a deal with him. He says, I will give you that. I will give you the hair. I'll give you the ability to fight. I'll give you the positive. And I'm going to throw in a couple of kitchen appliances, and all you need is to give me your soul. And he does. Next morning, Bubba wakes up, and he's got the hair, and he's got the strength, and he's got the aggressiveness and the positiveness because he's a werewolf. So, he's... What's the matter?
Landon says she's praying the power would go out.
Wanda, now I'm hurt. But while he's getting the girl back and beating up the bullies and beating up the criminals that try to rob the bar, and everybody, they play rednecks in this movie just so... If this movie wasn't made in the South, it could be offensive. Meanwhile, Satan's running around this town, and he's just causing all sorts of problems. He's getting souls from everyone. He gets a soul from one person, some guy that wants a third arm so he can play the slot machines. Yeah. So he sells his soul, gets the third arm, and appears on his head, and he can't do what he wants to do with it. So finally, Bubba has this confrontation with Satan and to try to, find the loopholes so he can get out of it. Satan gets defeated. Bubba stays Bubba the werewolf, and him and his girlfriend live happily ever after. What I liked about the movie is it's all indie production. Mitch Hyman wrote Bubba the Redneck Werewolf as a graphic novel. It was fairly popular down in the South. He wanted to make it into a movie, so he financed it all of himself. All the actors and actresses are friends of his. They're people that just like on the weekend, this movie took years to produce. On the weekend, him and his friends would get together. They'd film the movie. They did the makeup themselves. My favorite scene in it is still the scene with the zombies. I laugh my ass off at that, especially when the guy goes, they're not zombies, and they still continue to fire at the hippies. I like it because it is so well made for an independent film. We've done so many independent films out here that are just absolute crap. This one I think was very well done. And through just marketing and determination, it's now on Amazon Prime. So what did you guys think? I'm getting the impression here, reading the comments, nobody liked it.
Rich?
I will field this one first. So we'll go back to Hadley's movie because that was a 5-star epic masterpiece Oscar winner compared to this goddamn thing. This thing was my head hurts. I am stupider for having seen this movie. It's that bad. I don't know if this movie's gonna make a 1 for me. It's like I saw this movie once. It was called Sasquatch Against Zombies. That was better than this. This is just the one redeeming quality. Like we had Thor. Thor got his own star for my review from before. Thor was great, fantastic. Satan was the best part. Excuse me, of this movie, and he was still an idiot. So I'm so sorry, Scott. There was nothing about this movie that I liked. And on top of it, my kids were walking back and forth and they were looking at it and they were like, what are you? Oh, it's got to be for watching Wyrd. And I was like, yeah, dude, I didn't pick it. And I was throwing Scott under the bus. And they're like, well, we need to talk to Scott because this was just bad. So, we'll go into stars later, but that's my little bit of it. Yeah. Oh, I watched the whole thing, Mona. I think you should get paid for those 10 minutes. That was,
oh man, you guys are snarky with this one.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh my God, this
What'd
reminds me of the Sasquatch movie that we reviewed. That one where you know which one I'm talking about, right, Hadley?
The one that was filmed where you used to live.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
It's even worse. Oh, it's like a redneck one. Oh,
thanks, Tina.
Yeah, we got through about 10 that, and Tina's just looking at me. I could feel her looking at me. Somebody else.
Hadley.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, Scott. The only thing I remember is the bad werewolf mask. I blocked out the rest. I watched it, but I don't remember it at all.
Oh,
honestly, I've seen.
I think I just kind of zoned out into my own little world.
Oh, well, I tried.
I'm sorry, man.
No, I mean, I appreciate what they were doing, and the fact that it is indie is incredible, and the fact that it's on Amazon now is even better.
Yeah.
But I mean, things like that. I mean, it shows you whatever can make it will. You know, it's just a matter of the right marketing plan and a can-do attitude. Sorry, I'm trying to shine it up. I don't know that I can.
It does have a fan following, though. It does.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was a graphic novel.
Yeah.
I mean, I never read the graphic novel, but I was, you know, I look up these movies when we're looking at them, and I guess the graphic novel has a bit of a following too. It's got to be light years better than this piece of crap. But
well, the thing is, there's a huge horror community in Florida. And
that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Florida man made this movie.
When I moved to Florida, I met these guys. I'm friends with Mitch. I'm friends with John Catapano. That's probably one of the reasons I love this movie. I think for an independent film made with no main actors, minimal budget, I think compared to some of the other ones I picked, I think this is a good one.
Well,
it's better than Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It's the same caliber movie as Thanksgiving.
Oh,
That's the way I look at
it.
Wow.
Scott, I think you got more hate from this one than Thanksgiving.
For anything. Boy, when we watch the next movie, Velocipasty, you guys will give that an Academy Award.
Oh, man. You know, Scott, like Hadley was saying before she started laughing, they got this made. They got it made, and more than their mom and dad have seen it. So that's pretty awesome. You know,
4 of us right here.
Yeah. So
none of my stuff's been made into a movie. So good for them.
Yeah, right.
You people just hate my choice of movie.
You keep us on a. Look at Landa.
See Landa now. At least Landa's on my side with Velocipasta.
Okay, so what, Scott? What do you think?
I'm giving this one a 4.
Sorry. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
I am hurt. I'm deeply hurt. I doubt the three of you will give it a 4 combined.
I don't think it's gonna get one more point. To tell you the truth, I'm gonna give it a 0.5 stars. This was it just had no redeeming qualities at all. Like I said, I didn't like Bad Moon. I didn't like Bad Moon, but the dog and part of the story made up for it. This is just there's nothing here.
I'm not sure if Tony's being complimentary or snarky.
No, he's being complimentary.
Oh,
yeah, 4 out of a though.
No dongs are given by me.
What do you give it, Hadley?
Oh, no dongs. It's
no.
She gave it a 0.
No, I'll give it 1 dong.
Hey, Mark. I'll give it 1. I'll give it 1 just because it got made.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they were doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy.
Oh.
So Alan had a good question. He's like, "Did we do Silver Bullet or The Howling?" Two great werewolf movies. We wanted to do lesser known werewolf movies, so that's your answer there, buddy.
We did that.
Didn't we do The Howling recently for another show?
We did it for something else.
Yeah,
that's a great film.
Scream Queens. We did it for Scream Queens.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was the Pomeranian werewolf.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go, and we'll leave yours for last, bitch, because yours is a different one. Mine's The Howling. This is an English movie. It's a kind of a standard werewolf movie, I think. It's closer to Dog Soldiers in a way, with the werewolf designs in a way, but more humanistic. Howling starts out with Joe. He's the guard, ticket taker, ticket taker on a train in England that's headed across the countryside, and he gets forced into doing a double. He's on a train full of assholes. That's about the best I can put it, because these are the most unlikable characters for the most part. The train, driven by Sean Pertwee. Yeah, Sean Pertwee.
We like Sean.
Hits a deer, a big buck, I guess. So the train stops. He gets out to remove the animal from underneath the wheels of the train, which I thought a train would just run it over. But anyway.
They do. They hit stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. And they are attacked by werewolves. And Joe has to find his nutsack and help defend all the people in the train, whether they're worth defending or not. And this one's got some good humor in it. I thought it's got some chills. It's got some good special effects in it. I really like this one. Yeah. You guys?
I thought it was good. The downside. So the first werewolf, he's definitely like the biggest, like hulky one, and he was good. And the rest of them kind of look like, if you guys have seen the werewolf in Harry Potter, it kind of looked like that. The werewolves, once there was more. Okay, first of all, there's more than one werewolf. There's like a family of them living in the woods.
It's called a pack.
A pack. Yeah. Well, but was it? Because this was more like a family. They were okay.
Wolf
yeah,
packs
pack of we'll call it a pack of werewolves. The makeup on the werewolves was a little substandard, but that's where the substandard stops, because this is a great story. It's another trapped story. Usually you get, like demons or zombies or something traps you, but now this time it was werewolves, and they're trapped on the train. And like Alan said, all of these people are just dicks. They're just assholes for one way or another. They all end up getting what's coming to them. Sean Pertwee, who is, I think he's the only person that I knew in the whole movie. He's in it for like 8 seconds, and he's the first one to go. But I mean, when they're like boarding up the train and they're getting pieces of the train and they're trying to stop the creatures from getting in, that was pretty good. And there were some stupid decisions. There's this kid, Matthew, was his name? The Indian kid. He gets off and he's helping the other guy. And he just like walks into the he's like, what could this be? And he's got his little flashlight. I'm like, come on, nobody's that stupid. You've already seen a friggin' werewolf on the train and this howling. No, we stop. We don't do this. But he did it, But stupid decisions are what make horror movies.
So did Tina. She kept yelling at him.
Yeah.
Well, they could have just had it dragged off, while he's doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, they were fast. They could have just boom, taken them right in the
Yeah.
the pack. Could have taken them right into the woods.
Werewolves on a train. There we go.
Yeah, right.
Scott?
I like this movie. I thought it was, I agree with you all. The cast, I hated them. The only one I liked was the blonde girl who was serving the drinks and the food. She was the only one that wasn't a complete asshole and was trying to figure out what was going on. The kid that was the security guard in the train, he was not caught up to it. He wasn't even making decisions. The girl that was sitting there with the listening to talking on the phone, oh my God, I was begging that she would get eaten at some point in the movie. I thought it was good. You didn't see a lot of the werewolves, but you didn't have to. That was the whole point of this, was the trappedness. It reminded me a little bit of like a cross between Train to Busan and The Thing. They can't get out. They're stuck. They got to figure out a way to kill these things or survive till dawn.
It's a trap.
And they just went in and picked them off one at a time and just slowly moved them, and almost as if they were playing with their food. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed. This is one of the ones I really enjoyed. Started a little slow for me, but then the minute the train started on its way and it hit the deer and the werewolves started to come in, I was hooked on it.
Yeah. Hadley?
It started off slow. It took me a little while to get into it. I've seen it before and I just kind of forgotten about it, but it was good. I love wolves, so there's a lot of stuff that I start looking at wolf packs and start comparing stuff when I'm watching that I probably shouldn't do. But I found these, especially that first one was terrifying. I mean, that is what a werewolf is supposed to be and do and all that. The little old lady's transformation was pretty awesome. And like I said, there were some holes there, as I don't know that a wolf would, even a werewolf would eat its mate. So like I said, there was little things like that I look at because I know wolf behavior. And like, I'm a wolf expert. No, I'm not a wolf expert. I just read up on them. But yeah, so I liked it, but I'm sorry, it's not my favorite werewolf movie.
No,
but it was good. There is holes though. Like for me, what kind of wildlife sustained this many for this long without causing people to pay attention?
They ran over a deer.
Yeah.
Right. So they had stuff in the forest.
Didn't they mention like this had happened years ago?
Yes.
Before,
yeah, they did mention that,
died.
but I mean, again, do they only turn every 50 years? I mean, what's up with that?
Well, they're English, right? They're English. They werewolves over there. Okay, so let's have some tea.
Yeah.
1,000 Zulus are coming down the hill. Well, let's drink some tea and then we'll unload.
They did better with the Zulus than they did with the werewolf, though.
That is true. That you were talking about unknowns in this, unknown actors. The lady that was kind of the business lady that was really, horrible to Joe.
Yes. Yeah.
She was Shauna. I looked these up. Shauna McDonald. She was into Descent, both 1 and 2. She was the main character in the Descent. And then Joe, who has no nutsack, he was in Beowulf, the TV series. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Nope.
No.
But it's actually a pretty good series. It was on Spike TV, probably because no one ever saw it.
I love Beowulf. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on. It's streaming somewhere. You'll find it, probably Amazon. And then the guy that was trying to fix the train, he was on Ripper Street. He's been on a lot of stuff. We watched a lot of English.
That's the mechanic.
Yeah,
he was my favorite character.
Yeah.
He was the only one who had any sense and was helpful in any way.
Yeah, and so he dies first.
Did he die first?
No. We died first. They probably.
Yeah, he got.
Oh, that's right.
Pulled back into the train when they were trying to escape, and I don't know. I thought that was silly. They could have gotten him, and they're like, yeah, "See you, buddy. You just saved us, but we're out."
The Descent is awesome.
It is.
It made by the guy that made Dog Soldiers. So there's a werewolf tie in there. Bam.
My personal pick would be American Werewolf in London.
Yeah,
Oh, that's classic.
That is a great werewolf movie.
Yeah.
It really is. To me, the best werewolf, the best like depiction of a werewolf is Van Helsing. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Those werewolves are awesome. They're CGI, but they're fantastic.
It's a fun movie.
I think the best werewolf transformation is the Howling.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It is. Both
But,
guys.
I saw American Werewolf in Paris. It would rank among the movies we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, it's nowhere. It pales. Definitely. So, excuse me, Hadley, what would you give this one?
I think I'm going to go with 3.5.
Oh, Scott?
I'm going to agree with Hadley. 3.5. This one was a really good edge of your seat movie.
Right. Rich?
I was going to say 3.5, but you guys stole it on me, so I'm going to say 3.6. I thought it was pretty good. I would. It's a movie that I may watch again.
I'll give it a
big guy.
I'll give it a 4. It's a movie I've seen twice already, and I might watch it again. It's a standard siege story with werewolves, and it works. There's a lot of holes in it. There are holes, but that's how the werewolves get in. Average dong's nice. That makes the world go around, Landa. Average dongs.
Average dongs. Yeah.
All right, Rich, you're up with yours.
Well, I picked a movie called Where, and it's like W-E-R is the name of the film, and it's not your standard werewolf movie. It's a bit of an odd duck. It's a 2013 film, and it uses the disbelief trope, which is commonly found in any creature movie, but this one expounds on that trope because it uses medical science to dissuade both the characters and the people watching the movie from what's really going on. So it starts off with an American family and their dog brutally attacked and devoured by something in the French countryside. The mom survives long enough to tell the authorities that a man covered in hair with huge hands killed her husband and son. The Frenchies, of course, go on a hunt, come up with a suspect, Talon Gwynnick, who is infected with a rare disorder called porphyria, which I looked it up. It's a real thing. The disease, it looks like a friggin' werewolf. So it's an American doctor named Kate living in France. She's played by AJ Cook from Law and Order, not Law and Order, Criminal Minds or something like that. She's called to help poor Talon out, and during a brief scuffle in an interrogation room, Talon bites Gavin, one of Kate's assistants for the defense. The defense team brings Talon to a doctor to sort out what's up and prove that the poor dude isn't a murderer. So they flash some lights in the guy's eyes, and to everyone's dismay, find out the hard way that he is, in fact, a murderer because he murders the shit out of pretty much everybody using superhuman strength, speed, and some nifty claws. That was a good scene. It's in the doctor's lab, and it was good. So the corrupt cops, they track Talon down, and he changes further with that that bone cracking and finger elongating special effect that you see in every werewolf movie. And so now we're thinking there might be a little bit more at work here than just a little sickness. So he massacres most of the cops again, and he jumps out a 10-story window and runs away. Now me, after seeing that, I'm out. 10 stories, big claws. F this. The bakery needs a baker, and bread smells better than blood. So no, I'm out. But not these hero cops. No, sir. They go to Talon's house in the French countryside again, and the werewolf dude keeps up with the killing. At some point, you got to put some blame on the cops because all they seem to want to do is split up and then get dead. So, of course, Kate needs to solve everything and help everyone. So she goes to the barn by herself and gets another guy killed. Yay, Kate. They chase Talon into a series of caves, and he kills, guess what? More cops, and shockingly escapes again. Gavin, who got scratched, well, we thought he got scratched, but he was actually bitten. He has now begun to show signs of this porphyria, and he kills Talon's mom, who was not a very nice person. No. There was some intrigue about storing nuclear waste on the Gwynnick property and how the government and the cops were targeting Talon and possibly killed his father. And while it was interesting, it wasn't a very strong plot line.
No.
Kate and another member of the defense team, played by Vic Sahay from the awesome TV show Chuck. Yeah, right. They chase Talon into the woods, and it turns out to be a big mistake because Talon rips Vic's face off. There was a couple of lower jaw removals in this, which was pretty gory. Talon's about to turn Kate into fleshy chunks when Gavin, who has, for reasons unknown, I really couldn't figure this out, shaved off all of his hair. Because maybe he didn't want people to think he was a werewolf, so he shaved off all of his hair. And the two werewolves battle. I'll keep the end a secret in case you want to watch the film. It's from 2013, so it's not too old. And honestly, it was a decent film to watch. This is a movie that I thought I had seen before, but I hadn't, so I picked it by accident. But I'm glad I did. The film was shot on location in Romania and had a budget of $2.5 million, but its worldwide gross was only $860,000, so it was a flop. And I don't even ever remember seeing it advertised anywhere. Gore factor is pretty high in this one, with scenes of the werewolf feeding, but the really bad stuff is when Talon is just smashing heads and ripping off the jaws. It was icky. Of the 4 films this week, I think this was tied with Howl for the top spot. I like the film, and I'll watch it again. What do you think? I know what you think, Scott. You go first.
I think this is the bottom 4. Pluses. I like the fact that they didn't play up the typical werewolf, the changing, the howling at the moon, that they took the disease. And I liked it because it made it a sort of, okay, there's a scientific rationale behind the werewolf legend. I like that. The scene in the lab was the best scene when he goes nuts and just wipes out all the doctors in the lab. But my problems with this were found footage film at the beginning. All of that found footage and all of the camera angles from where they were, that turns me off. So many night scenes where you couldn't see what was going on. It was like combine that with the found footage. I didn't even start to get into the movie until the scene in the lab, and that was like 50 minutes into it. I think it was a great concept. I like the idea. I wasn't too thrilled with the blonde's character, because she seemed to want to get this guy off even after she knew he was a werewolf. Yeah. It was just sort of like this was her goal, She took she's an American lawyer defending some Frenchman for killing someone, which I could never figure out. There were parts of it that were good, but to me, overall, the movie flopped.
The money would agree with you.
Yeah.
Hadley?
I'm going to go with something that Scott just said, which is it took me a while to get into it. That lab scene caught my attention, and from that point on, I was hooked. There was a lot of stuff about this movie that I did like. And give me a minute while I think of them. No, teasing. The lab scene, I would love to have seen a side-by-side with that and the footage from Wolverine when it was really that good. And I enjoyed that. But the story of it, I saw footage before of somebody that had a mental illness that they thought they were a werewolf. And their facial features actually would change to look, and I'm not saying like, oh, they were a werewolf. No, but they thought they were. So that's where I thought this was going. And it was really well done. It was, like I said, it was interesting to see it put it, because I was like, I wonder if they saw that too. And that's where this came from. But I didn't really like the way it ended with the bald guy. But I just figured they're probably looking for to do a sequel, maybe.
Yeah, but it flopped, so I think that's
yeah.
Out.
So
But you're right.
I liked Allen's movie better, but only slightly. It was a good movie, and like I said, once they really started getting into the fight scenes, I liked that better than I liked the beginning when it was kind of slow.
You didn't like my movie?
What about you, big guy?
I like this movie. I saw it a while back. I don't know why it flopped. Because it is intense. It's got some good scenes. And like Scott and Hadley said, it's a little slow to the get-go. But when it gets going, I mean, when he wipes out that SWAT team, I mean, brutal. And the concept is great. I think they were going for the old French legend about the werewolf. You know,
Yep.
And it probably even says it in there. I can't remember. But it's got a lot of good stuff going for it, and the effects were good. The gore is all over the place.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the corrupt, even though you didn't like the corrupt cop part. I kind of like that.
Oh, I did not like it. I think they should have just made it more.
Yeah. But I did like they threw that in, and that was Bastian Roach. He played Balthazar on Supernatural, and Balthazar is great on Supernatural. Supernatural fans out there, but he did a good job in that. In fact, he's in Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, the first episode with the demon. He doesn't fare much better with that.
The demon in the storage facility.
Yeah.
Oh,
he's the.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
from Homeland. Is that the same guy?
He what?
The guy, he played a role in Homeland. Did the series with what's her name?
Oh, he might have. He's a big character actor in TV and you see him once in a while in movies like this. But I like this movie. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but it was really intense and bloody, and good pick, Rich.
Thanks.
Good pick.
Accidental.
I just don't know why it wasn't more popular. You know, at least for the gore and the werewolf changing. You know,
It's the slow. It was so slow.
Yeah, it was. That's what I was gonna say too. They were shooting for mystery, and I mean they hit it, but it took too long to get to the good stuff.
Right.
And I think that's why it probably flopped and why people didn't really watch it. But like you guys, like all of you said, once it got to that scene, because you're not even sure that he's a werewolf. You're not even sure he's going on. Even after the scene, you're like, wait a minute, that's weird. But once he starts like all cracking and his fingers are getting long, when the SWAT team comes in on him, you're like, oh shit, no, he's a werewolf for sure.
Yeah.
So and then he jumps out the building, and like I said, me as a cop, tendering my resignation right now, I'm gonna go over there. Nope, that shit doesn't happen.
It was like The Car, you know, the movie The Car. Where they've got 100 cops in this little tiny town, and they all get killed. Yeah. It's like this one. It's like throw more guys at it. It's like, oh, I'm out. Like you said, Rich, I'm out. I'm baking bread the rest of my life or something, man.
French bakery.
So what do we give this? Hadley, what do you give this one?
3.25.
All right. Yeah. Scott?
2.75.
Wow. Rich?
I will give it another 3.6.
I'll give it a 3.5. I thought it was good. It's worth a watch. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's slow. It's slow at the beginning, but the payoff on it is it's got a lot of payoff to it, I think. And like Scott said, ending kind of with but it's worth watching, I think, especially if you like werewolf movies.
Yeah, if someone can do the side by side of Wolverine and the lab scene, I would love to see it.
Yeah, because that's intense too. It
was very similar. Very similar. I would like to see that.
Yeah. And Deadpool and Wolverine are getting together. So.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Hugh Jackman and what's his name have such a romance.
Yeah. That's going to make some money. That movie's going to make.
Yeah. Well, the first two did very well.
Yeah. This one's going to be. A lot of fans want to see that.
Large. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see it. That's a movie I'm going to see. I'll take my dad and my son, and we'll go see it in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'll be sporting wood during that one.
Thanks, Tony.
Well, Tony.
Tony's. It looks like he's changed his icon, but I was going to say I know he'd probably like my movie because he's got a German Shepherd too.
Well, that was the best part of your movie.
I know.
It was.
Yeah.
But that was what made it a good movie. Was you don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was the only good part of that movie.
Well, I know you would. So.
I'm sorry.
But I still say that was the movie. Mariel Hemingway wasn't the star. It was Thor and Michael Paré.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And those two can't act their way out of the bag anyway.
No.
And I like Paré movies. You get what you're going to see.
I saw him on a preview the other day. I was watching trailers, and it was him, and it looked like a good movie.
Wow.
I know.
was
I'll
the
have to
movie?
find it and send it to you. I have to. I watch video trailers all the time, so I'll see if I can find it.
Well, he made this one that I probably shouldn't say it, but I'm going to, so you can make fun of me. It's called Purple Hearts. He made it with Cheryl Ladd, and it's he's a Navy surgeon, and the battle parts are good. The romance part sucks, but the battle parts were fun to watch.
Romance just ruins everything, doesn't it?
Well, it's just I don't know.
I know what you mean.
I'm sorry. My first wife made me go sit through The English Patient. And she said, but it's a war movie. You'll like it. And like 2.5 hours into the movie, when there was no action scenes and he's carrying her out of the desert, and she says, I love you. I said to my wife, I says, if he'd said that 2 friggin' hours ago, I could be home watching the Sci-Fi Channel. And the guy behind me laughed and got hit by his girlfriend.
I've never seen that one.
Do not.
I will not.
Oh, you have to have bought some stock and tissue when you watch it too.
Oh no, you have to have a bath bag.
Okay. Landa said Late Phases is on her watch. Have you any Late Phases?
I haven't actually seen that.
No, what is it?
Okay, if you like Steakland, okay.
Well, you know, I love me some Steakland. So
okay, it's got Mr. the guy that played Mr. He's the main character, and Tina is very romantic. Nah. He played the main character in Late Phases.
Okay.
So it's worth a watch. It really
is it a movie or a series?
Small movie. Werewolf movie.
I have found a plethora of bad horror movies that I'm going to be looking at to see if maybe I need to put one out there for y'all to watch.
I watched.
Did you guys see what Max and Landa said over here? The Last of Us. It's it's a video game that was on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, and it's about cordyceps fungus, and it takes people over, and we got zombies, and looks pretty good. And they made a TV show out of it. I think it's Pablo Pascal, right?
Yeah,
I think he's in it.
How many TV series does that guy need?
I don't know.
Sadly, it's on HBO,
right.
and I don't
it's
get
him.
HBO.
Him and it's that little girl from Game of Thrones too, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
But he's also in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is the man.
Ash has been pushing me to watch that movie. It's so bad.
Sharks of the Corn.
Yeah, it's like Children of the Corn, but with sharks.
What can't sharks do? Right? Am I right?
If you want a plethora of horrible shark movies, go to Tubi and just type in the word shark.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I did that review of Shark Side of the Moon. The best part of that is the title.
Well, next week, what are we doing?
Turkeys, right?
No, it's bad science fiction.
It's bad sci-fi.
Oh, I'll have to pick my movie tonight. There's so many.
Bad science. And Rich, what's your bad science movie?
I don't remember. I gotta look it up on the calendar.
I got it. Hold on.
Hadley's always got it. She's
After
on the
Earth.
ball.
After
Earth.
Earth. Oh yeah. Bad movie. That was filmed.
Smith.
That was filmed by where I used to live.
Oh,
Now,
really?
y'all didn't say pick a bad movie. You said bad science fiction. So I picked bad science fiction, Flash Gordon. Because
yeah,
it's a great movie, which I wanted to watch again, but it's bad science fiction.
I haven't seen that one since it came out. So
yeah,
it's worth it.
It's worth, especially when you think of the great actors that are in it.
I love the music. I love the man with the big bird wings.
Yep.
Thanks, Max.
I'm looking forward to watching it this weekend.
And I'm going to pick my movie now, Battlefield Earth.
Oh, we already did it.
Did
I was going to do that too. We already
one.
did Battlefield Earth.
We did?
That was my pick like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, that must have been before my
I was going to do it again. I was like, damn.
All right, then I'll have to think of a new one.
Yes.
Because that is a bad movie.
Mine is Man with the Screaming Brain. Bruce Campbell.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to have a fun week. Scott, what are you picking?
I don't know. I'll figure it out and I'll let you know tonight.
Okay.
All right. Well, and just to kind of go through and let everybody know what we're doing, on the 27th, which is Wednesday of Thanksgiving, we're doing our annual turkeys, which will be movies that we think are turkeys.
Yep.
So that should be fun, but you remember it'll be on a Wednesday and not Thursday. That is Thanksgiving.
Not Flesh Gordon, Tony.
I still want to see that one too.
I gotta go, guys. I didn't get any sleep last night. My sump pump, I had to work on it for a little while. Had issues. So I'm gonna have to catch you guys later. Thanks so much for having me.
Good luck.
Good luck with that sump pump.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
What kind of pump is it?
It is a sump pump, Alan.
Okay.
It pumps sump. There you go. What a dirty mind. I can't believe you would go there. Huh.
Of course he would.
Have a great one, guys. Thanks
All right,
everybody
see you,
for
Rich.
coming.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night. Thank you.